everyone, I'm Shannon Milks, registered dietitian with Norwest Co-op Community Health Center and also with the HANDS-KAI program. With the HANDS-KAI program, we really focus on proper nutrition and healthy eating, and this is highlighted through in a variety of ways. First, we talk about good nutrition and provide nutrition education as part of the HANDS-KAI health schools, and then we also provide support for groups when they're choosing healthy snacks or when they're sharing different recipe and meal ideas. What commonly comes up is questions around how can I save money? How can I add in different ingredients to really get more nutritional bang for my buck? And how can I get more of those veggies and fruits, which we always hear about. We need more and more of the vegetables and fruits in our diet because they're so good for our health. So here with us today, we have staff from the Norwest Co-op Community Food Center. We have Abby Legaspi, who's a food skills and cooking programmer, and community chef Grant Mitchell. They are going to do our recipe makeovers today. They're going to take you step by step on how to prepare some of these meals in a healthy way, and I will leave it to Grant and Abby. Take it away.
Thank you, Shannon. All right, we are going to make veggie burgers. Hooray. I love veggie burgers. I love meat burgers, but I also love veggie burgers, and I'll tell you why. It's a great way to get all the great things about our ingredients into you. It's also a great way of using up leftovers. So it's healthy, it's also super economical. It happens at our house at least once a week. Never grow tired of it because it's a burger, so it's a good way to sort of reconfigure those leftovers into something that maybe the kids would love, something you would love, something that's accessible, and so on. So, what are the prime constituents of a veggie burger? Rice. Brown rice. I always make too much rice, so that's kicking around the fridge. A good bean like, lentils. I always make too much lentils. Those are usually kicking around the fridge. And also I've got, some leftovers. This is some onions and peppers and peas. I'm gonna throw those in the mix too. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever you like. We're binding it with some flour and an egg. So it's all gonna come together into your mix right there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fry this in a pan, just like we would any other kind of burger. We're gonna form it into a patty, and we've got some buns, we've got some fresh vegetables that we're gonna serve with it, and it's going to be delicious. So I'm gonna put about equal parts of each of our ingredients into a bowl, simply mix them. So I've got a little half cup measure here. I'm gonna start with my rice. Toss it in there. A little bit of the barley, toss it in there. So we're just kind of making our constituents up as we go along. A bit of our leftovers, toss it in there. And then, like I say, depends on how much you're making for, how much you want to make. But let's go with this. We're going to crack an egg in there. It's a little bit of protein. Also, this is going to help us bind everything together. There's our egg. Make sure there's no shells. And then our flour. I'm going to start off with, what do we have here? About a half a cup of flour. I'm going to go a little less. Quarter cup, because we can always add more later. And then, one of the great joys of cooking, getting your hands dirty, your clean hands dirty. And we're mixing it up until everything combines into something that can form a patty. So here, I see we're still a little bit wet. I'm adding more flour, and we're gonna keep mixing. So all in total now, I've added a half a cup of everything, including the flour. We're coming together nicely here. I'm gonna add just a pinch more flour, and we'll be ready to head straight into the frying pan. As you can see, not only is it sticking to my fingers, but it'll stick together, and that's what we're after. So let's get cooking. I've got an ice cream scoop just because that's going to help me measure and keep all the burgers the same size. And I've got a pan with a dab of oil heating up behind me. So here's our mix and here's our ice cream scoop. This is a good measure, but it's not by any means absolutely necessary. You can use your hands, you can use a heaping tablespoon. You're making whatever size of patty that you want. But this is going to make a nice healthy one. So, here we go. Into the scoop and now into the pan. Our pan's been heating up. And this is a non-stick pan, so it's certainly going to help out with issues like sticking. But a good cast iron pan is going to do the same thing too. As well, we're going to let our oil get nice and warm, just so it starts shimmering like it is, into the drink. And then with a heat-proof spatula or a metal spatula or whatever, we're just going to push down on it and coax it off of our spatula. And magically, our patty appears before us. Don't worry about a perfect circle. Nature's rarely perfect. Actually, nature's always perfect. Humans are rarely perfect. And now we just let it crisp up in our pan. We're looking at about 5 minutes on this side, just making sure that we cook the flour all the way through. But other than that, we're just going for texture and color.
So Grant, how long will it take for that burger to cook?
Not long, a shorter amount of time than, let's say, beef or any other kind of meat patty.
Yeah.
I've got it on a medium heat. You want to keep your eye on it.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing is that since we've added flour, the flour's got to be cooked through.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just a matter of a sear on one side and on the other. It does have to spend a little bit of time. I'm thinking with a decent amount of heat, about 5 minutes each side.
5 minutes on each side.
Yeah.
And what kind of oil do you use on that?
I use a drop of olive oil. Certainly
okay.
canola.
That's interesting, yeah.
Any other oil that you have around the house, for sure. It does need a little bit because we are frying.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, as long as that's judiciously used, then it's not a problem. Okay, so I'm feeling like we're ready. It's been about 5 or so minutes, depending on the heat, depending on your pan. But we're ready to go. So I'm just very carefully going to take my spatula, whoops, slide it under, give it a little flip. Look at that color. Very nice. It's going to be nice and crispy. This is going to be a good one. And so if you think it's getting too dark or it's cooking too quickly, turn your heat down. That's the best cure to an out-of-control frying pan. But this looks nice. And we're just going to wait for that other side to crisp up. And we have a veggie burger. Okay, doke. Our patty is ready to be burgered. So we have a whole wheat bun that we purchased from the store. If you feel so inclined to make your own buns, absolutely. Then once again, it's a matter of what you want. Dressing your burger as you like it. So certainly, you know, your mayonnaise, whatever you like. We're going to keep it really simple and fresh.
So there's no mayonnaise in our burger?
Sorry, Abby, there's no mayonnaise in our burger. But we've got some fresh tomato. We have some fresh spinach.
Wow.
And kale. So, green pepper. So this is nice and bright.
Yeah.
It's going to add some texture, some nice crunchy texture. A little bit of spice. Some sliced onions. So. And
Your homemade tomato sauce.
the homemade tomato sauce. Like so. All right, I think we are ready to build our burger. Get our generous patty on there. And you want half?
Yes, please.
All right.
This is really huge.
Enjoy. Excuse my hands.
No
Let's
problem.
give it a spin.
This is good.
Crunchy. It's good.
Yeah, there's a different texture. The brown rice, I guess, or the barley.
Mm-hmm.
And there's crunchiness as well, probably because of the flour and the egg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can make a bigger patty, a thicker patty. It'll take longer to cook. But this is good. This works.
So you just saw Grant and Abby make a very delicious and flavorful veggie burger. So hamburgers, it's a really basic food that a lot of individuals and families will make, and this is really a way to add some extra nutrition into it. So the base of that veggie burger contained brown rice, lentils, and barley. And what this is, those three grains and legumes together add a lot of fiber to that meal. And why is that fiber important? Well, there's actually different types of fiber that you can get. There's insoluble and soluble fiber. We actually need both for our digestive health and also our heart health, blood sugar control, and to keep us feeling full. And so the brown rice is an example of insoluble fiber, which really helps to kind of keep us regular, help with our digestion. But what's really important is the fiber that's coming from the lentils and also the barley. That's called soluble fiber, and that's the type of fiber that really helps to regulate those blood sugars, helps with keeping our cholesterol down, and really helps enhance us that feeling of fullness. And so you're getting a lot of good nutrition and a lot of great types of fiber in this veggie burger. The other things that they have done as part of this recipe to add in extra fiber is using a whole wheat bun as well. So you can always use whole grain products like buns, pitas, burgers, and the buns that are whole grain are going to add that extra gram of fiber as well. And then look at the toppings that you put on it. To get creative, you can do things like mushrooms, you can do onions, you can use the homemade tomato sauce or any leftover pasta sauce that you have instead of ketchup, and now you're adding in extra nutrients. All those veggies are really going to be great for your overall health as well. And so this veggie burger really is a nutritional powerhouse when you look at all the ingredients that it's made up of. And it was delicious.